To pray, there's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Midoriya and Jiro, they had just helped in a plan to try and save the Earth, move it closer to the sun. While the Earth's heroes are still trying to figure all of this out, giving people permission to use their quirks, as long as they try and help everyone. Since this problem is so much bigger than a single individual nowadays. In fact, it is odd. Along with that, Midoriya did propose to Jiro, using the ring he hid long ago. Now, let us continue. The very same night, Jiro and Deku, they are actually talking, as they are at least in the Hall of Justice, sitting down and paying attention to the worlds. Tonight seems different. The world does feel a bit warmer, and it's at least not snowing anymore. However, with what they did, they threw off everything. Communication satellites, you name it. In fact, they threw off so much, the world technology almost stopped entirely. Until they were able to at least try and help recalibrate it. Since the North and South poles almost completely flipped on each other, they did at least move around, shifting the Earth's rotation. Now, with that being said, Midoriya and Jiro, they are talking and looking up at the stars, as they do at least think. This plan, it's a doozy. It consists of Midoriya going up to the sun and seeing if it's even still there, if it will even work. The idea is good, and it should at least work. Hopefully there's something that they can save though, because if there isn't, then it's just going to get a lot worse. Now, with that being said, let us cut to the next morning. Midoriya would wake up and get out of his bed, along with actually at least waking up Jiro. The two spent the night together. And I'll just leave it at that. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he would get her up, and the two would get ready for the day. As they do at least come to conclusion this morning at the meeting that the job is going to be difficult. And with the armor Sarah has, the Hell Bat suit, it will make things a lot easier. Lex Luthor and a bit of other people have been modifying it. It does run differently, and the fact is, it is a lot stronger now. It should be able to withstand the temperatures that the sun has. It was already at a good level considering the fact that it was forged in the sun originally. But they're not sure exactly what the Sun Eater will do if you try and mess with it. Midoriya understanding. At least giving Jiro a kiss before he does head off. Taking the Hellbat suit and flying directly up into space, as he's heading straight to the heart of the sun, getting there in almost a matter of seconds. He does get a warning from his ring though. He is approaching the star in his solar system, and he needs to be careful about the force it yields, because if it gets pulled in, he may not be able to escape it. Midoriya is shrugging it off, and flying in. As soon as he does touch the void, he does fly straight through it, beginning to blast his way through, heading deeper and deeper and deeper. It's being not good. Midoriya, he's just heading in deeper, and when he thinks he found the sun, it's not there. Trying to at least look for it and find it. By the time he does find it, it's not looking too hot. Quite literally. It just looks burnt out. The Sun Eater is still consuming it. The sun is small, not even 3/4 or even half the size it used to be. And Midoriya coming to a conclusion. They can't save it, the day. Him almost dropping out of the sky. If he was, well, the old him, he would scream and just blast away at this. This mission was for nothing. Everything they've tried to do is for nothing. That means they can't do anything. The sun is going to die. And then when it does, everyone's going to freeze. They can't do anything. Midoriya at least cheering up as he does fly back to Earth, giving his information to Damien and Lex Luthor. Whenever he does land, he does at least get out of his suit and actually talk with Jiro, holding her close to him as he basically does at least give up hope for a little bit. Now, he does know that there's a chance, but he knows it's going to be slim. It's going to be close if they can't do it. Although he does have a few crazy things that he does want to try. At least pulling Superman aside and asking him for a minute if there's any way he can get into the Fortress of Solitude. Him being a bit confused and asking why is he talking about that. Him explaining his idea. If there's anything that can save them, it's possibly within. Now, the archives. As Superman will go on saying, he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know about the fortress. Not a lot. He's been there a couple of times. And it's pretty cool. Even then, with the way I am now, I can't even open the door. So, I want you to go. I can still try and help out people any way I can here. I'm basically powerless. Superman just giving him the coordinates and telling him that this, should work. Handing over a smaller key, saying that he did always at least have a backup plan, or a back door underneath the place. You're going to have to swim underneath the ice, get through it, and come up to the surface. There is at least a place for you to get in from there. I would go, but I don't know if I can handle it. Now, Midoriya, he would just understand this, and fly off heading for the Fortress of Solitude. He gets it. Going in a place that was meant for your father, it can be difficult, it can be challenging. He doesn't want to accept his father's death. He can understand that. So, as he would arrive in the Arctic, trying to find the fortress, finding it about a little ways off from the actual coordinates he had. And it's in chaos. The place is at least sparkling with power, and glowing with immense energy. Now, Midoriya would come flying in. As the roof, part of it is beginning to collapse, and power is beginning to disperse in every single direction. Midoriya unsure what to do, as he does fly in and see something, as it is the Eradicator, given new form. Midoriya asking it exactly what is that, as he just throws up his hands to go and block it, or at least blast away at it. It telling him to wait, as Midoriya does at least stop. The Eradicator is saying that he's become far too unstable, and the power within this body, it was too much. Midoriya asking exactly what are you? It being to state that it is the Eradicator, and it has been programmed and reprogrammed for the last son of Krypton, in order to protect him. Giving the explanation, after he took Kal-El out of his grave, he put him into a, Kryptonian hypersleep, to try and re-energize his cells. However, he made a brave miscalculation. The last son of Krypton is truly gone, and the energy his body was producing was far too much. He tried to absorb the power within himself. The body is now powerless, and is rendered as no longer a threat to this place. However, with what's happening, he is supercharging, and he's about to explode. In doing so, that will destroy everything in this place. It will become so unstable. He will melt the solar ice cap within seconds. He is sorry, but his planet is doomed. There has to be a Kryptonian. Midoriya asking what does he mean has to be. The Eradicator just saying that he needs to discharge this energy, and it will at least protect this place. Midoriya unsure as to what he means. Thinking for a second. UV radiation, something to rejuvenate his cells. He needs to get John. How long can you hold on this? I can't hold it. I'm going to burst. Midoriya just telling him to use him, throwing out his hand. The Eradicator grabbing onto Midoriya, and immediately just taking off into the sky with him. The Eradicator himself beginning to pour Midoriya full of UV light and UV radiation. As Midoriya himself begins to feel different, feel his body change. As there's a large and loud explosion that can be heard from nearly all around the globe. Everyone mistaking this for, nuclear war. For a second, before there is at least a feeling of warmth around the planet. A little bit of the UV radiation, in the form of sunlight, shined through. Everyone thinking that it was at least something else, because the feeling of cold was quickly taken away, for a few minutes, before returning. Midoriya himself, however, he is currently falling down to the ground, smashing straight into the icy water of the Arctic, after falling through about 300 feet of ice. Now, with that being said, he would awaken hours later, unsure as where he is, as he does look around, and get up, getting off of the ocean floor, beginning to look around. This is different, and he's not even using his powers now. What is this? Beginning to move upwards. And as soon as he does jump off, though, he comes flying directly out of the water, and barreling through the air. As he does actually try and regain his composure. going to block himself from his fall and smashing hard into the ground. As he drops to his knees and begins to hear everything, Midoriya then looking upwards to the sky and shooting heat vision, not understanding what he just did, not understanding anything. Before something else, another one of these robots do actually walk out to him and get his attention, trying to get him to calm down. Midoriya not understanding anything, as after a bit of time, he would have been able to try and control these abilities, being given a specialized set of Kryptonian earplugs, and at least lead-framed glasses, the same as Kal-El had. Midoriya's hearing is still super high, but he's at least able to block out everything from around the world. He can only pick up everything from around the nearest 100 miles right now, which isn't quite a lot. And the heat vision is different, as he does try and ask this robot if there is any way that they can save the planet, Earth. Him just explaining, there is not. Now, Midoriya doesn't believe him, asking to see into the archives. The robot explained that only Kal-El can see into those, and that he is not supposed to even be a Kryptonian. Midoriya yelling at him that he forced this onto him already, just to try and save the planet in general. So, this little archive, I want to see it. I want to know for a fact there is nothing I can do. Because what I'm about to do might seem crazy if it's not. Now, after hours upon hours of looking through the archives, seeing and trying to learn everything he can, there is nothing. Not a single thing. Now, Midoriya, he's heartbroken to hear this, and even see this, as he does actually take flight, and fly back to Metropolis. Actually a bit more iffy on what he's doing, especially how he's doing it. Since whenever he does get back, he is greeted outside, everyone watching him fly to the ground, and almost shatter it instantaneously, upon landing. Now, as soon as that happens, Jiro actually does run up to him and try and hug him. However, whenever she does hug him, he doesn't even flinch, let alone move. Her immediately catching attention to that. Midoriya trying to explain himself. Going to take a step forward, saying that he can explain it inside. Going to run, using Superman's super speed and busting straight through the Justice League door. Now, as soon as that does happen, he would have fallen over. And, well, yeah, the glasses, the earmuffs, they're not really sure what to think. Until Midoriya does have to sit down and try to give an explanation. Explaining that whenever he got there, things were unstable, and that the Eradicator said that there has to be a Kryptonian. Superman, the son of him, the son of Superman, yelling at him that he could have gotten him, and he could have gone. Miura getting angry, smashing his hand down on the table and saying that there was no time. Now, that would have broken the table in half. Midoriya trying to explain to him that if he had gone, then the entire Arctic would have blown up. And that would not be any worse, or any better for this planet. Besides, right now, we're on a sinking ship. Don't you understand that? Still, I think we can all agree whenever I say something, though. Brainiac had a good idea. What are you talking about? Listen to me. We can try and evacuate the Earth. Are you crazy? No, listen. We can take people off planets. Take them somewhere else. Take them somewhere safe. If we can do that, then we won't need to fix the sun. You're joking. So you expect us to build an ark in 3 days? Let alone the next 2 weeks? Well, what's your idea? Move the sun closer? Move us closer to the sun? What are you gonna do then? I saw it with my own eyes. You cannot stop lying to people. People are going to die, Damien. Then what? Damien just looking at Midoriya. Before he does actually just throw something, sticking it in the table. Midoriya feeling weakened by it. As he looks up to see a kryptonite battering. Midoriya just grabbing it, and then shucking it as hard as he can away from him. As Damien just go on saying, so it's true then. Yes, I didn't want to do it, but it would have destroyed that place too, the fortress. Then again, I couldn't even get my answers straight from there. I looked through things for hours. Found nothing. So, that's it then. Yes. Now, I'm not so sure about you, but we needed to find a place that's habitable. As Jiro would speak up, saying that actually she does know of a place. She was searching for it while they were talking. She remembers going there before. Midoriya, not really sure what she's talking about. As she begins to say that over in Space Sector 1542, there is a planet she went to. Her ring said that it was somewhere between 70 to 80% similar to Earth. I believe it was actually over 50. Whatever. But it was almost identical. She didn't really even notice a lot of differences. But that place, she doesn't believe that she saw a species there. Well, it could work. Alright then. We need to find people who will work with us then. Midoriya beginning to state that. He can get ready and move the capital. Move Metropolis, New York, and as people just stop him. Superboy, Superman, Damien, and a few others, telling him that that is just stupid. He needs to work on helping them, not trying to just leave the situation behind. Midoriya reinstating his idea. He has the combined knowledge of Superman and Batman. Listen, I'm not sure how to use my new abilities. But even then, whenever I get there, I'm going to save everyone. I've taken too many lives. And even I know when to give up. Midoriya saying that, as he does actually head back to his room. Jiro following him and joining him. As Midoriya, whenever he does walk in, he does at least go over to his bedside and stare at something. The Phantom Lantern Ring. This ring, it's dangerous. It's stupid and it's crazy. He's wanted to use it before. But even then, it's just too risky. He can try and use greed. But even then, he's not too sure how that would work. Would he be able to maintain it long enough to create the White Lantern? Possibly the thing that can help save them, bring life back. No. Not even that will work. Shit. Midoriya would just be annoyed. As he does walk over to his window. And actually, do one thing. He courses his hand with shame. And then does it with every other version of the emotional spectrum that he can think of. Except for greed. and then giving the ring an order. Seek out someone who needs you. Someone whose emotions they can't control. Someone who can at least try and. Someone you think will at least be able to control you properly. Then bring them to me. Your task doesn't have to be quick. You have 2 days. Now, with that being said, this is whenever the ring would fly off, beginning its search. Jiro watching it leave, and asking him what he's doing. Midori just saying that he had an idea and he wants to see what happens. Listen, that ring is going. It's leaving. I've held on to it long enough. Really? So you're not going to try and give it a shot? No, I'm not. I don't know if it would even work the way I want it to. Well, I do at least have one question then. You did give me this ring, but I've been curious. Oh, what is it? Midori just walking over and wrapping his hands around her. As she just goes on saying that she's always wanted to try out the ultraviolet power. She's seen the way he uses it and the way it reacts to him. Would she be able to... Midori just telling her of course. In fact, here. Him taking off his own ring. And then handing it over to her. Her unsure. As she does slide it on. And seemingly nothing happening. Midoriya confused as she tries to use it. Midoriya telling the ring to authorize her access. It just stating that it will not. Authorized access is only to the corp leader. And this is the only singular ring that is truly of this corps. Midori just annoyed. As he does actually do something. He heads out. And heads down to the workshop. Cyborg uses it in what he does, and at least just try to create something. Midoriya running around and melting metal, crushing it whenever he needs to, and forming it. Jiro just watching him work at super speeds, not even really being able to catch up to him. As soon as she does run into the room, she does see Midoriya, holding a cast together, and then at least setting it down outside, in, well, a shallow pit of snow. As he just says that that should do it. Her asking him what he just did. Midori just saying that he's creating her a ring. He did at least try putting a bit of his blood in it. It should work. Whenever he was working, he put his blood and the power in it, while it was still molten. So, as he would just wrap his hands around her once again, telling her that that should work. As she would actually do one thing. She would actually fly a little bit upwards into the air, just so she can look down on him for a second, before at least giving him a kiss. The two wrapping around each other. As Midori does carry her back to their bed. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.